It's been a while since my last session here, and in this session, I wanted to talk about something that's been resonating for me over the last few months, which is the theme of love. What is love? Well, if we look at poetic or spiritual interpretations of the word, love is seen as something which is free from fear, free from discrimination, free from a sense of exchange. So someone like Krishnamurti would say that once you overcome the fetters in the mind, once you don't have any conflict, then the thing that's left is love. And the Buddha spoke about freedom or nirvana or release as that which remains when you remove all the obstacles that stand in its path. But love as we know it seems a far cry from these definitions. I mean, from the Buddhist point of view, you have the four Brahma Viharas, or the four divine abidings, which is essentially living in love. So metta, or friendliness, karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So it's sort of a love that doesn't need anything else to stand on. It stands independent. But what do we see in life as we know it? What's love? And although we watch the movies and we listen to the poetry, and you hear people like Rumi speaking about this unconditional thing, which is love, the reality of it is something really different, right? This is two beings coming together, romantic love I talk about here, which we're fed from childhood through movies as something which is sort of the ultimate aspiration. You know, we're all looking for love, and clearly not finding it. And now, in the time that we live in, love seems to become even more transactional than before. For a man, you have to earn a certain amount. You have to be over a certain height. You have to be in your masculine, and there's a whole list of items. And the same for women. She has to be in her feminine, she has to be soft, she has to be compliant or submissive. And we're coming to each other with a set of lists. As one of my teachers would say, it's the business model. You know, far cry from love. And this reminds me of something that I heard from Thich Nhat Hanh a while ago, where he talked about the hungry ghost. And the hungry ghost is this being that in Buddhist mythology has a big mouth and a big belly and a tiny throat. So he can consume, he can hold a lot in his mouth, but because his throat is the size of a needle, nothing goes in. He's constantly hungry and is constantly running around trying to consume. And in a sense, that's what love's become. You know, with dating apps and the freedom of choice, which is not a bad thing. I'm not denigrating freedom of choice or things like that. But here we have these beings running around like hungry ghosts, going from one person to the next, never really getting that deep, going through shopping lists of what they want and never really being satisfied. And they're all looking for love. They're all looking for that sense of belonging, for that sense of rest, and never finding it. And you might say this is suffering. It's just suffering, nothing else. But on the positive side, love can also become, this pursuit of romantic love can become a journey to awakening in itself. Because one thing that romantic love does is it exposes the very deepest fears and the deepest insecurities we have about ourselves. And you're basically laying this open to another person. And they can do with that what they want. So you're surrendering and then perhaps even getting hurt in the process. But at the end of it, you have the opportunity to start to see your own darkness. You can see the darkness in another person, you know, and the first tendency is to say, oh, so and so hurt me, so and so showed me the dark side. But as one of the teachers that I follow used to say, or still says, enlightenment doesn't come from looking outside. It comes from looking within. So even in this pursuit of being a hungry ghost and constantly being miserable, you know, I haven't met many people in today's lovescape who are not hungry ghosts. They're all seeking. They're all running around. And we label this thing love, you know. And as I said, it's a far cry from the love that Rumi spoke of or the love that the Buddha speaks of. But it can be a path to enlightenment.